Welcome to Flex Your Feelings, the mental health and wellness podcast with me, Sam Bell, and my... What adjective shall I use?
Any that you like.
Stunningly fancy.
Carry on.
Co-host, Mr. James Penny.
Thank you for that marvellous introduction.
Slow, but very, very warranted.
It's very kind of you.
Yeah.
It's nice to see
you are
you.
stunning.
Thank you, Sam. So are you, man.
It is good to see you. Right. Last episode was about modern dating.
You're not messing around today, are you?
No,
like,
I'm on a
right,
level.
let's do
this shit. So last episode was about modern dating, 2.0.
I enjoyed talking about that.
We laughed a lot in that one.
It was modern dating 2.0 first dates, wasn't it?
Predominantly first dates, but mainly physical dating. This one, today we are going to be talking about a bit of a, should we say, deeper subject.
I would say so.
Want to put like a disclaimer in here. The things that we talk about on this podcast, when we set this up, we sort of said we want to talk about real subjects, but it doesn't have to mean that it's all like doom and gloom and stuff like that. We want to make, if we do make jokes about things, they are based on our experience, and we try and make a serious subject kind of lighthearted, easy listening, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean we don't respect what we talk about.
Absolutely.
Or other people that may be going through certain situations in their life. And the things that we talk about, these are our opinions, right? We started this podcast because it's our opinions, our life experiences. Obviously, we both have different ones. Your career, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what it fucking is. I could probably come back to me. But you're basing it based on your, what is that
lived
word?
Experience?
Nah, like your industry, like
okay.
I don't know,
profession.
No.
Yes.
Come
on.
So what we're going to do, we'll talk about today is stress and anxiety, and obviously you being a therapist, I've been in therapy.
I've been in therapy.
Yeah. I mean, we've spoken in the past about it. I think everyone should be in some point in their life, but this is based on your personal experience, also your professional experience.
As it is with you.
As it is with me, yeah. Like I talk about it a lot with regards to my coaching, and I think what's going to come quite apparent is that your views on it are quite different to mine, and sometimes into the way that we approach it and what we can do next.
Yeah.
So I'm quite looking forward to. We're on the same page about quite a lot in these episodes, but I think this might be one.
Intrigued
yeah,
now.
but like it might be one where
are we gonna fight?
Not unless there's a.
Just with our words, not
unless there's
physically.
a paddling pool full of jelly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this might be one where there is a few differences in our opinions because they are based on our personal experience with it. So just a disclaimer again, for anyone that could potentially not agree with what we're saying, that is fine. Yeah. It doesn't we're not disrespecting you and your situation, your thoughts on what you believe on it. This is just ours. And if you think we're a bunch of fucking waffling idiots, you'd probably be right.
Well, I'll own that.
But there is no malice or anything said in this. This is just based on our opinions. So now I've done that really, really long introduction.
Can I add a bit?
Yeah, of course you can.
Can I also say that if anything that we're talking about today is impactful for you, or it feels like it hits a nerve, or that it triggers something within you, then talk to someone about it.
Yeah, there's loads of places you can go, right?
Yeah,
we're not, I mean, you actually are a licensed therapist, so you are someone that can definitely help. But me, I'm not a doctor or anything. I can't diagnose. This is a self-experience.
If something comes up for you after listening to the episode today and you feel strong emotion, talk to someone about it, go online, find some support, make sure that you do look after yourself.
Yeah, I think what we might even do is, maybe at the on the caption on this podcast, we'll put a few of the places they can go to if you are suffering from severe stress, anxiety, depression, anything like that.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, that's it. We're not talking about depression today, but it's all part of like anything. If you are struggling with mental health, we'll start putting that on the show notes. Cool, right? So I want to really, really pick your brains because obviously mentioned quite a few times you are a licensed therapist, so this is something that you must come across in patients a lot. But I'm probably more intrigued to hear about your experience and how you deal with it. Like they're two very different things, stress and anxiety, right?
They are.
The
terms often get used interchangeably.
Of course they do. So you kind of said something just before we started recording about the states of what they are. So stress is a certain type of state, and anxiety is a kind of
stress.
And
Yeah,
that could be. You just said people get used together. People could get misconstrued.
Yeah.
Is that a word? Oh yes, get that one.
Yeah.
Stick that in the
Smashed
dictionary.
it out the ballpark.
But people could, talk to me about that state. So someone who's like kind of struggling to understand what it is.
It's just trying to make a distinction between stress and anxiety, that you can be stressed and not necessarily be anxious.
Yep.
And vice versa. That anxiety is an emotion.
Right.
And stress is a feeling state.
Okay.
Both of them will have an impact on you mentally and physically. But it's just important to differentiate between stress and anxiety, even though we can use the terms interchangeably, and we will throughout this podcast.
Of course, sure.
But stress is a feeling state and anxiety is an emotion.
Okay.
And it's just important to make that distinction.
Yeah. Yeah, I think...
Go on, sorry.
No, go on, you carry on.
Well, I think it's important to make the distinction because in some ways in today's society, I think that we are headed towards a time where we're trying to eradicate stress and anxiety, that we're trying to get to a place where people don't have to feel those things anymore. And actually, I think they are natural parts of being human. So anxiety being an emotion, we're going to experience anxiety in our lives. That's a given. Stress is a feeling state that results out of your perception of a particular time in your life, a particular situation, a particular moment. We can't take that away from people. We can manage it and we can intervene and we can have healthy coping mechanisms. But the point is not to eradicate that from the human experience, because I don't think you can. Unless you're an enlightened being or enlightened master, you're going to feel stress and anxiety from time to time.
Yeah.
But I think stress and anxiety have become such a huge topic of discussion because people are suffering so much. And in a lot of ways, I think the wider context here, maybe some societal messages are that it's an illness and it needs to be gotten rid of.
Okay, that you've almost teed me right up there.
Go for it.
Because I agree with you. When you say that people... it's very triggering for some people to hear other people's opinions on this, yeah, especially if they've suffered with anxiety and depression.
As have
and
I,
stuff like
and
that.
as have you.
As have I, right. But what I really learned when I was going through the highest levels of stress and anxiety was that I created a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't catch anxiety. And I'm quoting a guy that helped me through a really, really poor period of my life in terms of my mental health. You can't catch it. Like, if you're anxious right now, I'm not going to catch it off you. It's not a disease. It's not
airborne.
It's not, no. Do you know what I mean? Like, you create that shit. Yes, it is.
There's an energy to
There is
it.
a mental illness aspect there. But that, like you just said, that phrase illness indicates that you're not in control of catching it or almost like getting rid of it. Like, you are, because if you focus on shit grows. And the term anxiety is so negative because, I'm so anxious about this. But anxiety can be used in a positive way as well. Like, in my opinion, if you're anxious about something, you're quite focused on it, right? That's how anxiety is. If you're anxious about a certain situation, you are focusing on it.
Energy flows where attention goes.
Energy goes where attention flows, yeah. That's it. And you can use that because it shows that you care, you're focused on it. And the same with stress. I think if you're stressed enough about something, it shows that it's a level of caring about it.
Yeah.
But it's differentiating, I think I pronounced that right.
Did.
On how much stress is good stress, how much anxiety about this is a good anxiety.
Yeah.
And
is it in proportion to what's happening?
Exactly. And then going down that kind of wormhole, rabbit hole of, oh, fuck, no, like, I can't stop thinking about this. I'm so stressed.
Yeah.
So how do you think, based on, let me ask you something.
Well, before we do that, if it's okay, because you mentioned a really good point. There's good stress and good anxiety, and then there's negative stress and negative anxiety. It's all about perspective and a reasonable level of what can I reasonably expect to feel in this moment, because the environment I'm in or the circumstances I'm experiencing will mean that that's going to trigger a certain level of stress and anxiety? Or am I in a situation that ordinarily is really safe and not harmful, but I've generated a load of stress and anxiety around it? I mean, it's very subjective. What makes you stressed won't be the same as what makes me stressed, and what necessarily makes you anxious won't be the same as what makes me anxious.
Yeah.
Unless we sort of trace it right back to like the anxiety that we need to keep us alive. Like you would run from a saber-toothed tiger, so would I. You know,
fight that fucker.
You might be a little bit more, come here. I'll be like, no. But there's a certain amount of anxiety that we need to stay alive to keep us safe, that we would die without it. But then it gets to unhealthy states and unhealthy perspectives where actually we focus so much more now on perceived threats than we do actual threats.
Yeah, so that's kind of if you're anxious about something, the chances are you're overthinking a lot about it, right?
Yeah.
And the thought of something happening is generally
triggering your alarm system.
But it's generally far worse than the actual situation.
Almost always.
That's the whole point.
Unless you're in actual danger,
yeah,
where you need to act, where you need to remove yourself from a dangerous situation. If you're crossing the road and you don't look, you need to jump out the way of a car, whatever. But most of the time in today's society, we're reacting to threats that we perceive to be dangerous and harmful because of overthinking and getting lost in our thought stream of something bad's going to happen, which triggers the very same response as if we needed to get out of the way of a car in the road, or if we felt significantly in danger, something was going to harm us. It's the same response triggered in the body, but it's getting triggered every day, sometimes several times a day, sometimes all day, every day. That's when it's really damaging to someone.
Before we go on to what I asked you about in terms of like kind of as James Penny, the person, not the therapist, I was going
I've experienced.
I'm going to ask you what you experienced and like what helped you get through that. But what I actually want to ask you first is something a concept that I want your opinion on. It's something that I learned, and once I learned this, I couldn't really unlearn it, and I agree with it. I'm not going to lie, but do you believe that if you're okay? Let me try and rephrase this a little bit better. I believe now that if I plan my day and to such a degree that I don't have time to feel anxious. So anxiety is when you are your focus on a thought 9 times out of 10 it's a negative thought, right? It's a negative situation. If I plan my day and everything to such a degree that I don't have time to think about that thought, then I can almost eradicate that anxiety level. What do you think about that? Because it's something that I do really believe in. I do understand that there is completely different levels of anxiety. Like we said, my anxiety is completely different to somebody else's. But something that has helped me is that, well, it's easy to say, just don't think about it. That's not what I'm saying here. Because if I'm sat in a room and you tell me, don't think of a big fucking fat elephant with a clown bouncing up on his head, it's the first thing you're going to think about, right? But if I'm sat there and I'm already anxious, I'm going to keep thinking about my anxiety. But if I wake up in the morning and I go, right, I've got to go for a run, I've got to go gym, I've got to go to work, I've got to do this, and then in my experience, the whole day's gone by. It might be nighttime and I've gone, wow, this morning I woke up worried about that and I haven't thought about it once because I've been so busy. My mind has been so busy. Where my energy and my attention has gone, it hasn't gone on that anxiety. So I haven't thought about it. So am I anxious? I'm not anxious. I'm not, because my anxiety's gone. So what do you think about that?
Well, there's a lot in what you're saying, and I'm not going to sit here and just disagree because I think it's very subjective.
That was the thing I thought you were going to really go.
No, I'm not going to sit here and say, I don't think that there's any truth in it, because I do think there's truth in it. I think there's something around healthy distraction.
Yep.
That we often are at the mercy of our self-talk and in our own thoughts, and actually we can find relief from that by focusing on tasks in the moment, that being present. Some people find the to-do list very helpful. If it works for you, it works for you. I do think we just have to be careful whether or not we are entering into a place where we're avoiding feelings.
Yep.
That's the only thing I would say. If we're not able to sit with our emotions, and the only way to distract ourselves is with the to-do list, we're not really getting to the core of what the emotion is.
Yep.
And learning how to ride that emotion or that feeling out. We're just deferring it. We're putting it off. Like, I've got the to-do list today. Great. And I didn't feel anxious. Well, that's great. And that may be that's worked for you on that particular day.
It was like sweeping under the carpet kind of thing.
As long as you're not sweeping it under the carpet. If you're sweeping anything under the carpet is just going to grow into this huge, great big mound where there's all of your stuff there and you're not processing it.
Yeah.
And I think that links into how society at large, in my opinion, tends to pathologize anxiety, that we shouldn't have it. We need to eradicate it. We shouldn't feel anything. Oh my God, I'm feeling anxious. Don't want to feel it. Get rid of it, please. Well, let's learn about it. Let's see what's under the anxiety. If the anxiety is alerting you to something feeling wrong, what's wrong? Let's process it. Let's gain perspective. Let's work on the trigger. So the anxiety is like the outcome. The anxiety is the physiological response of going, oh, something bad's going to happen. But if we're not addressing what's going on underneath, we're missing the point.
So if I was to say to you, this is obviously based off the concept that I just said, right? But during that process, I also attended therapy. So there was scheduled times and when I planned to think about that anxiety and to really get in touch. So that's the caveat, I think. I'm of the believer that if you plan yourself, your day and all that sort of stuff, then you don't think about it. But I actually planned intentionally to discuss it with my therapist.
Yeah.
And now I am at a point where everybody still gets anxious, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll sit with this for a bit, and I'll even if I feel like my day might be like completely structured, but you get that wave of anxiety come over you, I'll be like, all right, cool, let me just put that one to the side a little bit, that task. Why am I feeling like this? But I only did that. I believe I was only able to do that because I did the work on scheduling and getting that routine done, but then also really focusing on learning why I was anxious. Where's that anxiety come from?
Yeah.
And
that sounds really healthy.
So
that means
I'm going to intentionally make myself feel shit.
Yeah, but you're not sweeping it under the carpet.
No.
You're working on it in therapy. You're addressing what is being experienced in your mind that is triggering the anxiety. And I think that's a really important part of managing any anxiety and any stress, is to talk about it, to understand it. The power gets taken away when you've got some self-awareness around what's going on. You recognize that the anxiety and the stress of themselves, which may be quite controversial, is not going to harm you. Even though we think the anxiety is going to harm us, panic attacks, for example, or high amounts of stress has been proven to have a significantly negative impact on your body. But that's like in excess, extreme experiences. Overall, I don't think any emotion has ever actually harmed anyone, but we think it's going to harm us, and then the levels just keep rising because we're battling the anxiety. We don't want it. We want to get rid of it.
Yeah, that's not to say that obviously people that have
some people
are sadly no longer with us because they couldn't handle that emotion. That's not what we're talking about harm.
No,
we're saying that actual emotion itself.
Yeah,
that's not going to harm you, but your reaction to that emotion. That's
was
what
somebody
hurts.
taking action based on a feeling.
Exactly.
Not the feeling itself.
No, the feelings itself. There's that. I can't remember what the phrase is now, but it's like, you can't, your feelings don't hurt you or whatever. But it's like, no, they really can't. But your reaction to them,
your reactions and your action, can hurt you. And I'm aware that anxiety and stress are hugely debilitating experiences that, if left unattended, can really damage people's lives and prevent them from living a happy and content life with it can be really, really painful for somebody to just get through the day. But we're trying to educate people around what stress and anxiety is and what people can do about it. and just to sort of bring it away from this medicalized, well, we shouldn't really be having anxiety. It's a illness. Get rid of it. Or, well, no, this is an emotional experience. How do we navigate it? And stress is slightly different, but it's in the same realm.
Do you think, going back to what you said earlier about like, I think we've almost, you and I are from of the same sort of generation, right? And we've gone through, we're lucky. I feel like we are lucky to have lived in an era where you've gone from don't talk about any feelings, to then we've then gone, everyone talk about feelings, and now we're almost coming back down a little bit. Like we're going through cycles here. That's what I kind of see happening. And you said earlier about people want to eradicate anxiety. Well, fucking 5 years ago, you wanted me to talk about it all the time. And I think, and there's a lot of other podcasts and a lot of other people that have said this, probably in a little bit more of an extreme way, but a lot of people, society gave them permission to make it their identity. And it comes a lot, it goes in
hand. As a label or?
Yeah, it goes hand in hand with actual diagnosed mental, quote, illnesses, ADHD, like bipolar and stuff like that. It's like, oh, my anxiety, my bipolar, my ADHD. It's not fucking yours. Like, and that's my opinion. It's like, and they basically make that their whole identity, which to me can then be used as an excuse to do certain things, to do certain behaviours.
It's a complicated subject, and it's about individuals having diagnoses that they then incorporate as part of themselves, but may somewhere along the line make it the thing they lead with.
Yeah.
When actually we're all made up of so many different character traits and personality traits and different.
What's that Pixar Disney film?
Inside Out.
Yeah. Brilliant, isn't it? Yeah.
Bloody. If you haven't seen the second one yet, have you seen the second one?
I haven't, no. I think we discussed this on a previous, but I can't remember. But I haven't.
So good.
Even I'm
It's so good. But some people having a diagnosis, it becomes their identity, and I'm not sure if that's healthy. I don't think it defines you, but it's something that you live with. You know, I wouldn't lead with, hi, I'm James, and I've suffered depression in my life. I would say, other things.
That could go back to the dating thing, couldn't it? Like, that'll be next. Like, on Tinder profiles and other apps are available. It's like, oh, what mental illness do you suffer with? Like, what? Like, everyone seems to have something that they want to be like, oh, this is, I've got this wrong with me. Like, and I used to be an anxious mess, but a lot of it was to do with my lifestyle. And I think that's a big thing that we can discuss is like stress and anxiety. We spoke about them being created. How do you live your life? Because if you are so stressed and you're so anxious,
something's wrong.
Have a little look at yourself because, party culture, getting out on a sesh every weekend, my anxiety levels on a Monday and Tuesday were through the roof. And it's because I was coming down. Like I was on such a bad like endorphin loss or whatever you want to. And it's like the minute I removed certain things, I was like, oh, actually, I'm not actually that much of an anxious person. However, then I got anxious about other things. I was like, okay, this is the real shit that I'm actually can suffer with here. Like I need to talk about this. It wasn't that was like those issues that I had with going out in session and stuff. They just masked my real insecurities. And I was like, okay, I'm okay feeling anxious about this because I know it's real. Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people are still doing a lot of things that contribute to it, and their first. We live in an age where their first port of call is, I need pills. I'm suffering from depression. I'm suffering from anxiety.
We're in a drug-centered culture where it's like prescribe me a pill.
Yeah, imagine you
fix the problem.
Yeah, imagine you went to the doctor and you go, I'm suffering from this, and this. And they go, right, do you know what? Yeah, you're probably a little bit depressed right now and you're anxious. Okay, what are you going to give me? And they give you a book, and they go, like. Can you and it's a prompted journal because I've heard about mood diaries, which baffles me because if you're feeling shit and they go, write your mood down, you're going to write about shit. So you feel even worse again. You read it twice.
So this is something guided.
Yeah, I think.
This is what you think should happen.
I'm not plugging here, but why do we live in a world where it's easier to give somebody a pill rather than offer somebody actual help and go, I get that it's funding, but go, do you know what? Right, these are a list of things that you could try and do and add to your lifestyle. Maybe try that first. But people are just loaded up on. I mean, we're going off on way different tangents.
Well, it's to do with pathologizing emotion again. We live in a society where we now see emotions as something we can medicate.
Yeah.
And that not just self-medication off our own backs if we're struggling, but also that, there are prescribed drugs that are given to people, in the hundreds of thousands of prescriptions every day because someone is having a low period or having an anxious period. It's like, well, I do get that there are extremes, and I do get that there are times when people are really debilitated, and medication can be a very successful way to help those people. So I'm trying not to generalize.
Yeah.
But for a large majority of people, they're not being taught how to process their feelings and their emotions. They're being told, take a tablet. They're misinformed about what that tablet actually does. And then they're on that tablet for months, years of their lives. And they're never getting to the underbelly of what's actually going on.
No. And I think there's something, everybody feels low at some point in their life.
It's very normal.
Right.
Let's
normalize it.
Yeah.
But every single person I know that has been through a period of real low stress, anxiety, probably depression as well. Some of them haven't. Some of them have had to take medication for a period.
I've taken
and I completely, fully respect that. However, the ones that I would argue are probably still of that victim mentality now, haven't done any actual work on trying to get through, and the ones that have they're different people. They are the feeling of probably not self-worth, but self-pride to look at a life like a timeline and go, I felt shit. I had this option to take something that was gonna mask all this shit that I'm not dealing with. I worked my ass off. I went to therapy. I started going to the gym. Whatever it is in your routine.
Looked at my diet. Looked at my sleep.
Exactly.
Habits.
Those are the ones that are like, they're smashing life now. But they're also the first people to turn around and be like, listen to anybody that's feeling a bit anxious. And I get that we're in a world that a lot of people are like, if it works for me, it should work for you. It doesn't work like that. And obviously I coach people on how to navigate through that. But yeah, I just I think it's so much self-pride in going, do you know what? I did this. And then there's you're not relying on a pill.
I think you're talking about taking personal responsibility.
Yeah, accountability, right?
Accountability, responsibility. If we don't befriend ourselves, get to know our emotions, get to know our feelings, get to know our environment, get to know how we tick, we're always going to come up against the same challenges.
Yeah.
If we work on ourselves and we take full responsibility and accountability for what we're going through, whether that's taking medication in conjunction with talking therapy or one or the other, it doesn't matter. But do the work, take that time to change and develop, because otherwise you will keep falling down the same rabbit hole.
Yeah. All right. So following that, what we did on a previous episode in terms of talking about dating do's and don'ts and like your top three tips and my top three tips, I'd quite like to do that in this.
Okay.
Because we've both got experience.
Yeah.
But I want you to do this from your personal experience, not from James the therapist. I want you to do it from you. So take the therapist out of the equation for a bit. Not that that's your identity. You are far more than that, sir. Don't worry about that.
Thank you.
But I'm not a doctor. I'm just, this is all
Neither
my
of us
opinions.
have medical training.
No. So it's like, if somebody was to ask you, James, what are your top three tips on how to deal with, we'll use stress and anxiety as both things.
Well, I think these tips do speak
to both of them, yeah. So we'll do it the same, and you go for one, I go one.
Well, who went first last time? Let's make it fair. Did you go first this time?
I go first. So I'll go first this time, yes.
Yeah.
And, let me know
We're so polite. No one's barging things. I'm going first.
So I wanted you to go first a little bit because I think...
Oh, well, then I'll go first.
I think I know what your number one is going to be.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I'm going to make that.
He has written it down, so I can read it. But what he's
do you mind stop looking over at my notes, please?
No. Do you know what? Right. Before you do say this.
Okay.
I think, and everyone's answer is the same, and it's great advice.
There's a but coming.
But the but.
I know your face when there's a
and it's down to my personality, right? And this will only apply to a certain group of people, but I feel like it could apply to a lot more if they were open to it. That was my tummy. If you
was it actually? Yeah. I didn't hear it.
All right, well I did.
We're both actually quite hungry.
Just talk about it, right? And that statement is fucking
Oh, you don't like that
bullshit.
statement. Right, okay.
To me.
I'm curious. Tell me why that's bullshit.
Because I think that if you asked anybody, that would be their number one tip. Just talk about it. And it's fucking great.
Okay.
Because if you are open to talking about it, that's step number one.
Okay.
But cooking, but talking about it.
Because I mentioned food.
It is, yeah. I'm thinking, what am I cooking for lunch? But talking about it is just the start. If you find a therapist, or if you find a friend or a loved one, a family member, a colleague, whatever their relationship to you may be, talk about it. But how can you then react and put action in? Because if you talk about something for long enough but don't actually do anything about it, I don't think anything's going to change. In my opinion, that's my opinion.
It won't change.
No, but just talk. No, cooking don't solve everything. The cooking. Why don't I fucking cook it?
Like,
fuck me.
And later on the show, we're going through our recipes.
Do you know what it is, right? It's because my coach always uses the phrase "talking don't cook rice."
And there you go.
And it's in my head. That's what it is. But it's so true. Like, just talking about it. All right, brilliant. Like, I'm going to talk about the same shit that keeps coming up.
Don't just talk about it, but there are many people that don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's about finding a balance of do say, do share, do confide in people. And for some, just that initial share will be powerful and helpful. But I think I can say this with conviction that it will then take further steps to properly address what's going on. But some people aren't even at the point where they're talking. Yeah. So we do want to obviously advocate.
Yeah, you want to push that. And
talk.
If you're in a position where you want to talk, that's amazing, because that is
don't
probably
just rely on the talking, because there is a risk that you can just keep creating and indulging in and fueling the same problem.
Yeah, because all you're doing is talking about it. You're focused on it, and it's like, okay. And that's kind of why I'm not in therapy at the minute. Like, there was a situation where I was kind of told, let's just stop. Let's just kind of relax. We'll talk about why these feelings are here. And what happens if you don't do anything about it? I'm like, that doesn't work for me. And then that contradicted everything I believe. So I was like, right, do you know what? For me, this isn't working right now, because I'm a doer, if you like, and I need to be doing something. It doesn't mean that I'm not focused on why I felt that way.
Yeah.
So anyway, like I said, I think that top tip of most people say just talk about it. Good, but maybe not the be all and end all.
No, I really think that's powerful advice. It's just giving people the gentle nudge to take it further.
Yeah.
Talk, absolutely, always going to advocate for that.
That's the door.
That's the doorway,
right?
But then step through the door and start changing, taking action, exploring how you can turn things around. But it will take conscious effort.
I mean, the phrase "open up a can of worms" is completely irrelevant, right? Yeah. You open it up and then just be like, right, okay, I'm gonna fucking sort this shit out, and then start really taking action. Okay, so 1 for 1, top tips. Top tips.
You've served your first one.
Well,
it was lovely.
That wasn't really my tip,
wasn't it?
No, that actually wasn't. That was my assumption that most people would say that. Okay. Oh, let's talk about it. Like that would, yeah, I get it. I do understand it. There's loads of amazing people out there that are fantastic listeners. And
something I'll drop in then, and this isn't necessarily a tip either. Sod it. Let's go off piste. I feel that what we've got to be careful of when we're talking about stress and anxiety and how to manage it is to, even though it's important to understand it, to get to know it, to understand the triggers, to have self-awareness and insight, we also have to be really careful not to over-intellectualize what's happening.
Whoa. Over what?
Over-intellectualize. So don't overthink it. Don't try and make so much sense of it.
Yeah.
Because that might actually be in service of the very problems staying around and getting bigger. Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense.
If we keep trying to deconstruct it and derive a sense of intellectual understanding, it could be argued that we're just kind of keeping it around and fueling it. So when I give my tips, what I'm having in mind is that I want to sort of zoom right out.
Yeah.
To sort of get as wide a lens as possible on this as a human experience, and think what's moving away from honing in on specifics for people and tackling stress and anxiety in a way that's going to help people regardless of what their triggers are, regardless of what the circumstances are. And it may feel a little spiritual, a little odd to hear, but it's trying to address it from a source rather than going in on specifics of people, you know?
Yeah.
So when I talk about how to manage stress and anxiety, I'm really coming at it from the bigger picture.
Okay.
Not let's go down to what so-and-so around the corner is really stressed about at work.
Yeah.
Let's zoom way out.
All right, let's elaborate then, because if you're like, let's get into what you mean. Tip number 1 then, because this your first tip will explain what you mean.
Well, I mean, and
not that you didn't explain that very well. I'm not saying that.
I mean, I have.
He looks very anxious right now.
Occasionally,
I'm joking.
No, like go around the houses a bit. But the first tip, it's going to sound weird, but I will put it into context. So my first tip for anything stress and anxiety related, and this won't fit for everyone, but is to look up.
And if you're short, then look up even more. I'm quite sure.
Don't strain your neck, but look up.
Yeah, how high?
And then let me elaborate. A lot of stress and anxiety comes from us rushing around, totally and utterly enthralled and engrossed in our day-to-day lives, everything we've got to do, everyone we've got to see, all the thoughts going on in our minds. We just have to look around. We are in an overstimulating, hugely busy world. That's not going to change. What we can take responsibility for is slowing down. And so when I say look up, whenever I'm feeling stressed and anxious, I'll get outside, whether it's open a window, get to a window, open the door, walk outside if you're on a walk, whatever it is, and just look up at the sky, right? And realise that
if
we
it's
are
raining, put goggles on.
Yeah. What did he say?
If it's raining, put goggles
on. Or have an umbrella.
But then you're gonna see the umbrella.
Look up, because it puts things into perspective. We are
a
dots. I love that. We're little dots in a universe or a multiverse that's beyond our comprehension. If I find myself entrenched in stress and anxiety, sometimes I just think, hang on a second. I have gotten completely lost in what I feel, albeit very passionately about. This means stuff. This is important. I must have finished cleaning the kitchen before I go out tonight. I'm stressed that I haven't done the washing. Whoa. Just pause for a minute, look up and recognize how fucking awesome this life is, how awesome that it is that we're here, and that we need to gain a little bit of perspective. And it's just to distract you, bring you back to the present moment. Look up. Take it in, man. Take it in.
Take it in, man.
Take it in, man.
That was really hippie.
I know. It's like, just let's just soak it up, man. But I couldn't be
light
more...
a spliff and just enjoy
I
yourself.
couldn't be more serious.
Do not advocate drugs on this podcast.
Look up, because we are so in the trenches down here. We need to remind ourselves that there is more going on. And that actually what's important is not just about whether or not we've done the washing, or whether or not we've worked late again, or whether or not we've upset our partner, or whether or not we think we're not good enough. We're part of a bigger picture. And it's really quite amazing that we're even here. So that's my tip number 1. And it kind of links with a tip that I'm going to share in a bit. But yeah, look up, take it in.
And it's all about gaining perspective. And like I've just literally Googled whilst you've been saying that.
I wonder why you were on your phone. I was thinking,
you thought I was really rude.
How rude?
No. I'm not texting anyone back. So the chances of us actually being born.
Oh, yes.
So
this is it. This is what I mean.
Right? So you are, don't get me wrong, like, yeah, you're suffering from the stress.
Yeah, and I'm not diminishing that.
No. But the perspective is the chances of you actually being here is, I don't even know what number this is.
Oh, wow. Oh my God.
There's a lot of zeros and it's got a 4. It's like...
There's 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, there's like 12 zeros after that.
So I don't know what fucking number that is.
I don't know what number.
But
can you type that number into Google and get it to say the number?
Apparently it's 400 trillion.
Oh.
The chances,
that was simpler than I was expecting.
Yeah, I should have read down
Not trillion or something, no?
No, so yeah, they say we have a 1 in 400 trillion chance of being here. That's a lot of sperm.
That's pretty fucking remarkable, isn't it?
But it is, isn't it? And it's like, to tell someone that, they'll be like, shut the fuck up. But it's like, mate, or I call girls mate anyway. It's like, come on, like, I know you're going through a really hard time right now, but the perspective is you probably shouldn't be here because the chances of you actually being here are so slim, but you fucking are. So let's do something about it.
It's so much more. It's so much more powerful than maybe we're putting across, because it does link to perspective. And in my experience, personally and professionally, the one thing that helps with any stress and anxiety is getting perspective. Because all the world is what we're interacting with the world every day, and we're processing it every day through our lens, through our belief systems, our filters, our learned behavior. And we're just assuming that that's right. We're just assuming that that's everyone's experience. But slow down, remember that we're like pretty awesome creatures, and that we just take some responsibility in that moment to think, what is actually going on here? What's the healthier perspective I can take? If I'm working all hours God sends at work and I'm stressed out, then some part of your body is going, stop, slow down, take time off. But we fight it, and we try and preserve and cling on to our old ways of thinking and behaving to our own detriment. And some part of our internal guidance system, I believe, is telling us, you know what to do. Stop. You need to ask for what you need. You need to ask for time off. You need to take holiday. You need to talk to somebody. You know that this cannot continue. This is going to end up being so damaging. But I don't think, feel that confident in showing up for ourselves in that way, because the learned behavior is so strong that we forget that there is another perspective.
Yeah.
And it's quite spiritual in feel, I get it, but does it really matter what's actually going on here? How important is this to me? Have I got swept along with the drama? Because, oh my God, I've got swept along with the drama more times than I can count in my life. And the only way I've stopped that is to stop in the moment and think, hang on a second, what's actually going on here? What power do I have in this moment? I have all of the power.
So if I was to say, like, obviously you've used the phrase "look up," right? And
as a way to sort of inspire people to go, fuck yeah.
But it's not. You're not necessarily. Well, you are in a way, but it's that moment where you can use it to recognize.
Yes.
So it's a physical action that you can do.
It's stopping.
To go, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up. Right now, I know what I'm going to be doing. Then that's when the trail of thought comes in about perspective and like the little dot that you are and stuff like that. You're not saying if you feel shit, gaze into the stars, into nothingness. It's that trigger action of look up, and then that then is a catalyst for a different thought process, right? Am I right in saying that?
Absolutely.
Cool.
It gives you that space and that distance from the stress and anxiety to then search for something that's actually more balanced and more realistic and more in line with what's really going on. Because so much of the time we're so creative in our minds, we can distort so much into being something dramatic, painful, damaging. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, there are enough situations in life that we don't have control over, but we always have control over how we respond to something. And I think I said to myself a few years ago, I am done with the anxiety. I'm done with the stress. If I don't want to do something now, if I have to do it, fine, but I'll accept it, and there's no point getting stressed over it, because I determine how much attention I give that subject. I grew up in a household that was hugely anxious, that everything we did was, oh my God, what's the worst case scenario? Something really bad's going to happen. I can't think straight. I've got to think about everything before I make one decision. It was debilitating. And I took that on as a child and into my early adult life. And I used to fret and fuss and faff around and get so anxious and stressed. And at some point I just thought, what am I doing? I observed other people who weren't stressed and anxious, thought, how are they doing it? So I paid attention, thought they have perspective, they slow down, they talk, they're connected.
Don't give all your tips away straight away.
And it was, I wanted to think, well, I don't know how to bloody do this. I mean, I don't know how to stop stressing out about work or stop worrying and not sleeping because I feel like I'm doing something wrong, or I've said something wrong to a friend or whatever. And it finally clicked. It was just like, oh, I get it. I get to determine how I deal with this now.
Yeah.
No one else. And yet, do I still feel anxiety in my life? Yes. But do I have a better relationship with it? I'm like, oh, what? You're here now. What are you here to tell me? That's interesting. I'm feeling really, really anxious. What's that about? Not I'm feeling anxious, then about feeling anxious. And then, oh my God, before you know it, you completely descended into chaos. Or if I'm in traffic and I'm stressed, I'm not going to be there. My new philosophy is, oh, well.
Yeah, I know you've been late to this podcast a couple of times.
I have not. That's a blatant lie. But does any of that resonate? Or am I just sort of spouting hot air? Because you look like...
Sorry,
you
I fell
look like
No, I'm joking.
I've lost you.
No, not at all. No, it makes complete sense.
I'm not saying it's easy, may I add. It takes work.
And what you're saying, what the back end of what you just said, in terms of you observed others and like you kind of looked at why they're like mannerisms and like the way they
How
acted.
are they calmer than me?
Exactly, right. So that kind of leads on to what my top tip would be.
Please, I've dominated for the past 5 minutes.
You
I do
love
apologize.
dominating.
I just get so passionate about it.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And yeah.
What's your tip?
So my tip would be, and this isn't because I help people and I coach people, but best bit of advice I would give someone that is, we live in a world of comparison, right?
Mm.
And there's comparison is the thief of joy. It's a very very powerful quote.
Amazing quote. Who said it?
Oh fuck no. But we compare ourselves to others, right? And you did it because you were feeling anxious. You were feeling this, so you compared yourself to others in a positive way because you're like, hang on, they're up here. Why are they feeling like that? So my first bit of advice was that if you're feeling a certain kind of way, why not find someone that is acting in a way that you would feel that you would want to act.
Yeah.
Right. And whether that be a therapist, someone who can help you do that, or a coach, or anything like that. And it's not the find help and talk about it. It is purposely seek out someone that you know is you resonate with. I got my coach because he was proper straight talking. He was fucking swearing in his advert. And I was like, oh, this is a bit of me. 2 years
Colourful language.
2 years later and X amount of pounds later, I'm still there. And I'm like, that. And he was living proof that I was so fucking negative and I was so focused on all the bullshit that his approach to it, I was like, okay, hang about. How do I feel how he's feeling right now?
Yeah.
And like, don't get me wrong, when I very first went with him, there was not a single thought or anything in my body that thought I would be then wanting to do the same to help others. I wasn't sitting there going, oh, I want to do that one day. But I was like, all I want to do is feel how he's feeling right now. Because in this advert that he's this, I want to feel like that. Okay, right, how do I do that? And then that's why I then learn.
And then you emulate it.
Yeah, and I think it's just that first tip would be, okay, yeah, you're stressed, you're anxious. This is if it's been going on for quite a while.
That. Yeah.
Right. I'm not talking like in the moment, I'm quite stressed and anxious about this subject, because if you're going to know why, if it's a particular thing, like, oh, I'm stressed about a job interview and I'm quite anxious about going to my new parents-in-law or something like that. Do you know what I mean? But if this period, if you're going through a period of stress and anxiety and you think, oh, what can I do to really help myself here? That would be my tip. It would be seek out someone that can help you, and but also ask yourself what that help looks like. If you haven't had it before, you're probably not going to know too much, but you know in yourself, in my opinion, when people say like you're a visual learner or you're theory based, I think that same kind of thing applies into self-development and self-growth. Like, if you can sit there and just talk about it and like really understand the emotions, and then sit there and like, okay, cool, but find someone that is going to match what you believe you get the most benefit from. If someone is all
like
about
a
taking
role
action,
model or
exactly, yeah,
find
a coach, find a role
inspired
model.
by.
Yeah. I think that would be my top tip.
And because following on from that, I think it's about. I think this what I'm going to say now comes from AA, Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah,
that it's easier to act your way into a new way of thinking than think your way into a new way of acting. Yeah, and I think that's kind of what you're saying. Like find someone and emulate them, act how they act, try and copy them. What are they doing? How are they talking? How are they being? And try and adopt that behavior for yourself. And I think if the fit is right, it will start to feel sincere, genuine. It might feel clunky as fuck to start with. You might be like, this doesn't feel authentic at all. But if you keep at it, if you genuinely find someone that inspires you, then you will start to make those changes for yourself.
Yeah, I think there's, so based on what that process, I wanted to, in future episodes, have a proper discussion about that, but I will touch on it a little bit now. And that kind of think your way out and that sort of thing. There's a process called have, do, be, have, do. Have you heard of that?
I haven't.
Right.
Enlighten
There's
me.
also, the fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
So really,
that's controversial, but
now there's a girl, Roxy Nafusi. She's massive on manifestation. Like, she's made a hell of a career about it. And like, listen to her, she's fucking insane. Not in a bad way, like in a real good way.
That was praise.
But it's like fake it till you become it.
Yeah.
And it's the same process. And then I know we're not talking about dating now, but when I very first became single, there was a task that I did, and it was like, write down everything you think that you want in a partner and fucking be it. Because what you are, you attract. Be that.
Stop worrying about what they're not.
Yeah, exactly. Be what you want
them to be.
But the have, do, be process is basically, to real simplify it, is everybody. This isn't regarding stress and anxiety. This is talking about as a person of personal development and self-growth.
Well, to help yourself.
Everyone thinks, so you want to be this person, yeah? So they go, right, in order to be that person, I need to have these things, i.e. money, better job, better fucking wife, better whatever it might be. And then I can do the things that I want to do, go on bigger holidays, have a bigger house, and that's when I will be that person. And it's like, well, that be will always be further away because it's all materialistic and all that sort of stuff.
We just keep moving the goalposts.
So go back to your old math days, transpose that formula, right?
Not a chance.
Yeah.
I got a D now.
Yeah. But it's like, okay, flip it around. Be the person you want to be first.
Yes.
Because then what will happen is that you'll end up having what you want, and you'll end up doing the things you want.
That's exactly the same.
And it's so simple, but no one does it.
That's law of attraction. Yeah. That's spirituality. That is emulate and be now who you want to be, and everything else will come. Yeah. Because what really is the source is how we feel on the inside. If we want to be different, then we start with the internal sense of how would that feel to be that person. Yeah. And act that out and let that sort of shine out of you.
And to quote, to plug my own coaching here, you said to be different, you got to move different.
Look
so
at what you did.
Move different with SB. Come find me.
Operator.
Okay, so like your tip, first tip, big perspective outlook, like have a little look, like massive real look at like the perspective of it. Mine would be to go and emulate somebody else if try and find help in the right way. So what would be your second tip?
Well,
let's keep this one a bit shorter.
Okay. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
I'm joking.
No, you're not. You're being deadly serious. So the second tip is around meditation and breathing.
Ooh,
so,
okay. Two things I'm big on.
But in my opinion, it is one of the most integral parts of keeping yourself healthy is to have a meditation or mindful breathing practice in your life.
So if you're new to meditation, how can you go about that?
Well, it's not something that you have to know anything about to be able to start. You can focus right now in this moment by reminding yourself that you are breathing and to consciously focus on the breath. So there are 1,000,001 ways to do that. You can look on YouTube or wherever. There's so many guided meditations, breathing exercises. I mean, there's an abundance of material out there for you to explore. But I'm talking about it now because for myself and other people that I come into contact with and help, quite often I find, and I'll speak for myself first, meditation or breathing, something I know helps me, slips way, 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 way down the list because what I've got to do. And so often when I get stressed and anxious, it's because I'm doing more and I'm basically allowing the one thing that I know is going to keep me grounded to drift away because I've got to do the washing. I've got to go to Tesco's. I've got to go and meet so-and-so. So remembering that within any second of your life, you can go, oh, that I'm a sentient being, I'm breathing. I can focus on my breath. And that has a hugely calming effect on your entire nervous system and emotionally speaking. So meditation, some people will recoil from that and think, oh God, I can't do it. Yes, you can. There's no one exempt from being able to meditate. But start small. Make time in your day-to-day life for some conscious breathing. And then build on that breathing practice because, oh my God, when you start getting into it, you never go back.
I hear stories about people go to like these meditations and you hear of people having like orgasms and stuff because it's that fucking intense.
It's typical that you give that example.
Why?
Oh my God, can I have an orgasm?
Can I go a whole podcast about referring to sex? Probably not. Maybe I need to go to a sex
I
therapist.
hope not, because it makes me laugh.
But no, like I've heard of people that go to them and they like these breath work places and it's like you hear, I mean, I've heard about it being women. I mean, it might be quite messy if it's a load of blokes ejaculating everywhere, but you know. Like, we just better talk about, let's...
How have we gotten
I don't
here?
know, sorry.
Sam.
I said that we could talk it
now I've just got mental images that I just...
of boners everywhere in meditation.
Topic completely.
Right, no, sorry.
No, so I want to make this more relatable. So instead of thinking...
I just did.
Well, you made it an orgy. So what I want to get across is that the biggest resource that you can access in any given moment is your breath. No, not
sorry,
Pornhub.
no, yeah, is yeah.
Is... I keep losing my train
Other
of
porn
thought.
sites are available.
Is your breath.
Yeah.
It's free. It's there all the time. And the moment you connect with it, you are in the present moment. You're using the breath as an anchor. All of the stress and anxiety may not necessarily just disappear. Let's not have crazy expectations. But will it start to dissipate and settle? Yes. We've got to remember to breathe. Conscious, deep breathing.
If you don't, you die. So.
If you don't, you die. But we breathe automatically because of our central nervous system's doing it for us. But we never stop to remember and focus on it.
Yeah,
that's
like,
life.
It's one of those. I think I've heard this before. Like, it's one of those things that you do.
I'm gonna do it now.
You do automatically, but you can actually. He looks like he's having an orgasm.
See, just those couple of breaths. I already feel.
I feel awkward.
You were stressing me out with your sexual innuendos. I'm like, I'm going to my Zen place now, Sam. Please be quiet. But I couldn't be more serious about it. Don't forget to breathe.
Yeah.
You know when people are
hyperventilating,
and they're rushing around going, oh my God, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to go here, I've got to do this. No, you don't. Stop. Breathe. Recenter, then go. Honestly, it's hugely impactful, but it doesn't mean you then have to go and meditate for 3 hours a day. Believe me, when you get into it, you're going to want to do that. But it's not practical to spend our entire days in meditation. We are meant to be engaging in the world around us, but get into a good habit of at least remembering to have a good few conscious breaths every couple of hours. Honestly, that shit is amazing and it's free and it's there whenever you want it. So I'm just saying... I do experience people saying, oh, I've tried breathing, it doesn't work for me. Well, sorry, I mean, you're breathing and you're still here, right? Like, you know, this is anchoring
you just
you
haven't actively
to the
tried.
planet. Yeah, I'm talking about not going,
yeah.
That's not it.
No.
Breathe. And if you watch babies breathe, they breathe from their abdomens, their tummy. We, as adults, our breath slowly moves up from our tummies to our chest. And when we breathe as adults, you'll see people going right from the top of their chest. That's not where we should be breathing from.
People like singing.
Yeah.
When you go singing lessons,
Exactly
they say that you sing from your
people
stomach.
Are holding in their stomachs going, oh, I don't want to be fat. Oh, I hate my stomach. I'm bloated.
I'm not mentioning fat people. I got told off for the last time.
You should breathe from the diaphragm, from the belly. And that's how we started to breathe when we were babies. And that's how we can calm our central nervous system.
And there's actual breathwork coaches as well, isn't
Massively.
there? Like it's a big thing now. Like I said, like people put on retreats and go there and have loads of fun, apparently.
There's that guy, I think, is it Hoff?
Wim Hof,
Yeah. And I've tried doing some of his breathing exercise. Oh my God. I mean, do it when you sat down and when you're not operating heavy machinery, because I felt really dizzy.
Don't do it when I'm on a fire engine.
It's so powerful. It's amazing. So yeah, my second tip, not the most revolutionary, but my God, does it work. Don't forget to breathe.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be one of those people that, it's funny, like, You know, when you start like learning a lot about yourself, all the shit that you just take the piss out of, you now really advocate and you fucking love. You get really excited
you're
about, right?
Damn.
Yeah, like oh, fucking meditate.
But
Yeah,
20
like,
years ago.
if you go, oh, do you want to meditate? All you used to think of was some person in pajamas with their fingers together going, oh.
Yeah, that still happens.
I know, but anyway, but
that's not for everyone.
no. But when I started learning about it, I'll be honest, I really struggled to do the morning breath work was all right, and I used I used an app for it, and I used a guided meditation. But I genuinely don't think I did it first thing in the morning, and I fell asleep every fucking time. And I was like, well, this isn't what meditation's about. However,
but it's very common for that to happen.
Yeah. So what I started doing was I do like a cold dip as well, and I really restructured
one of those plunge pools.
Yeah, I got it's like one of
those.
the tubs, like the inflatable sort of thing.
Best I've got is just a cold shower.
Yeah. See, I tried. I do cold showers, but it's not the same. The plunge is so much different. But what I found
the plunge.
But what I found was that without even realizing it, I was already meditating and doing my breath work in the tub, and it was that moment where I got in, like obviously the impact of cold straight away. It was like that takes your breath away, like literally. And then I started doing my breath work, and then I focused. And I've told this to so many people that say about, oh, would you recommend an ice bath? And yeah, I don't know the physical benefits of it enough to be like, yeah, do it for this, because there's all these links with this circulation. Yeah, there's loads of shit, right? But I was like, for me, I was like, I used to be in that tub for 2.5, 3 minutes.
I thought you were going to say hours. I was like, you're mad.
Shriveled everywhere. But I can, the scene that I used to go to in my head, and I don't know if this is a form of meditation, but I used to get away from the cold, to really focus my mind. I used to be laying on a beach, and I used to picture the grains of sand, and I could draw this for you right now.
That is meditation.
And it was this. I saw the waves crashing, and I saw a sailboat with a red sail, and it would go all the way to the left, out of my vision, and all the way to the right. And by that time, my Fitbit, other watches are available, would vibrate, and I'd be like, "Oh, my 3 minutes is done."
There you go.
And I was like, I think I just meditated.
But meditation, the word just means to focus, place your attention on.
And I didn't know that.
We're meditating if we're cooking. We're meditating if we're reading.
Talking about cooking again.
We're meditating if we're playing a sport.
Yeah.
It just means to place your focus on.
Okay, cool.
Place your intention. Yeah, you place your energy on it.
Yeah. So your tip 2 is good.
I mean, as I say, it's not necessarily groundbreaking, but it's like breathe.
But these are our experiences. You know, like, to be honest with you, my top tip.
Have you given your second tip?
I'm sat. Not yet. I'm sat.
Oh, sorry.
We're having a discussion, mate. But my top tip in my head just then, I thought, do you know what? That might have been my third tip now, because now, as I've been sat here talking to you, I'm like, actually, I think I prioritise this one over that.
Okay.
And what I want to do is throw a little bit of thing in there. Is like a caveat is that the last one I spoke about, my top tip for like a longer period of stress and anxiety. If you know you've been feeling that's what my top tip would be. For instant, kind of like what you just said, so it's quite relatable. If you are particularly anxious about a certain situation in that moment, and it's not over a long period, there's no longevity there.
It's
like there you go. You said you were shit at maths. Acute angle. Get outside, man. Yeah. I don't give a shit if it's raining, snowing, fucking hail. Just honestly, no single person in this whole entire world.
It's like, get outside and look up. Hey,
exactly.
Married in heaven.
Yeah, but there's not a single person in this world that can say that they felt worse after going for like a walk. Because it sounds so stupid, but going outside, getting fresh air, and if it's pissing down with rain, the chances are, if you're stressed and anxious, you're probably going to worry more about getting wet than you are about the anxiety. So for that period of moment, you'll be like...
But once you're wet, you can't really get any wetter, can you, really?
Well, speak from experience. Speak for yourself, mate.
Well, but if you go out in the rain and you get wet, I mean, so what, you'll dry.
Do you know what? If it's fucking hammering it down, and I'm at a loose end, not a loose end, but I've got a bit of time, I'm like, I'm going to go walking now.
Yeah.
Because I want to feel it. Like, it's
going
weird.
Out in a thunderstorm.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, just not with a metal umbrella.
No, obviously.
Or a big fishing
rod. But again, I mean, it's you probably heard it before, and it's not groundbreaking. But my God, does it work? Get outside.
Yeah,
we're not designed to be in these brick boxes for hours and hours and hours of our day. We're meant to be out in nature. And again, here we go. I mean, God, I never thought I'd bloody say this. I'm feeling my age now. I feel like next stop, I'm going to start presenting Country File. But
I don't even
Get
know what
out
that
in
is.
nature. Get out in nature.
Yeah, but it's true.
Get out.
And it's like, say,
Get out.
when we talk about like all the shit that we used to take the piss out of, and there's loads of like,
It's like, oh, when I was a kid, oh God, I don't want to go for a walk, Mum. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so bored. Should we go for a walk after lunch, darling? Oh.
yeah, literally.
Now I'm like, oh, nice walk.
Yeah, but it's funny. You see on like obviously a meme's a meme, right? But they're there for a reason. And it's like the 35 to 45-year-old male starter pack that used to be like an absolute session or grew up in the 90s, and they're all climbing mountains now. They all do fucking yoga. They all do breath work. They all journal. They all do this shit, and it's so
Good.
true. Like 33 years old.
Yeah.
All the shit that I used to take the piss out of, I now do, or I am
think that's
planning
wisdom.
to do. Yeah, I'll call it wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay, mate. So
Third
your third and final tip from yourself.
Okay. Third and final tip is have a mantra.
Ooh, okay.
So mantra is a positive saying. I mean, you can have negative mantras. I mean,
It's the same as an affirmation or different?
kind of the same-ish. I mean, I'm not a Buddhist, but I think it comes from Buddhism. But it's basically a positive statement that you can repeat. And we can have negative mantras because, like, this is never going to work. 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 I mean, stress and anxiety can come out of negative mantras. But I'm talking about develop or have a positive mantra at your disposal in your head that you can repeat when you get stressed or anxious.
Do you have one?
Yes, all is well.
Do you? Oh, I was going to say, do you mind sharing it?
I've just shared it.
Oh,
I stole it from...
well, no one reinvented fucking the wheel, mate. So.
No, true. But it's all is well. So
it's so simple.
Whatever's going on, whether it's if I'm stressed or anxious, if I get drawn into drama, if I'm in traffic, if I'm worrying about a family member, if I'm stressed in a relationship, whatever it may be, I will say in my own head, after doing some positive breaths or some conscious breaths, all is well. Because unless I'm imminently going to die, all is well. The rest is perspective. So no matter what's happening to me in my day, if something doesn't go according to plan, sometimes I go, who am I to think I planned my day? So sorry, my little dot self is so controlling that I can't open my day up to if something doesn't go my way. Oh, well, what am I going to do instead? How can I respond to this instead? If I'm in traffic, I'm going to sing.
Oh, yeah. I'm all over that one.
You know, maybe I'm going to avoid being in some horrible accident further down the line. I mean, I do think it's a bit, I'm quite spiritual in nature. It's about trusting that everything's going to work out. All is well. And then my brain signals to my central nervous system and my fight or flight system, you're okay.
Yeah.
All is well. If someone's shouting at me, I wouldn't necessarily be saying out loud, all is well, because that might be received really badly. Yeah, who the fuck do you think you are? But in my head, I'm
rolling down the windows every 2 minutes. Or rolling down. What fucking year am I in?
Get out of the way. All is well.
I knew I recognised you from a traffic
when
jam
that's not
once.
going to work. But there was a time where I was walking once, and I don't walk in a straight line. Anyone that knows me knows this about me.
It's like because you've been...
Absolutely unnecessary. And I love the fact that you found that so funny. No,
That's a really derogatory word.
I do
I'm so sorry.
No, not at all. I do walk in a bit of a, I'm a bit, what's the word, zigzagging.
Yeah.
And there was this cyclist one morning when I was walking, having my coffee, and he went, can you just walk in a fucking straight line?
There's nothing straight about me, darling.
And
clicked your fingers
first
at
of all,
him.
I was like, damn, I wish I'd said that. Second was like, I got drawn into the drama. I was like, what? What do you mean? But then I went in my head, I was like, all is well. He was just a bit stressed.
Yeah.
And then I said, and this was going to be, this probably wouldn't have gone down well at all, but I was like, have a nice day.
Oh, you patronising prick.
But after milliseconds of going through that, I did actually genuinely mean it, because I thought, oh, what a pain. I was being, what a pain. He was trying to get past me politely, but I kept zigzagging all over the bloody pavement, and he got so stressed. That's on him. That's not my anxiety. Like you said, it's not, you can't catch it.
Yeah.
I caught it in that moment and thought, oh God, no, it's not mine, it's his. And I wouldn't say have a nice day again in future, but I'd be like, I'm sorry. And just something where I kept it calm. But my mantra is, all is well.
Yeah, I like that.
And I use it multiple times a day.
I think people would probably realise as well that they actually do that without recognising it. Like, you practice it, yeah, so you're very, very aware of it, that you know that you use it as a as a tool. Yeah. But just listening to you then, I never once thought that I have a mantra, but just you mentioning it to me, I'm sat there thinking, oh, maybe I do then. Because when I'm in a similar situation, I'm like, oh, well, like, it's not, I'm not actively going all is well, but I'm thinking in my head, well, I know it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And and I don't, I used to be so negative, like, oh my God, the world's ending. Like, and I'm like, when you've been at your own low, your own rock bottom, and you don't think you can get any lower, I don't really think there's anything that can, like, when you do the self-work and you start to realize, you're like, so long as I'm not going to die, I'm going to be all right. So yeah, I do that already, and I didn't even realize. So I love that.
This reminded me very quickly of a saying I read in a book called The Comfort Book by Matt Haig.
Okay, yeah, no, I haven't heard that. I haven't read that.
It was about rock bottom.
Right.
I think it was a little poem, but I'm paraphrasing it, so I apologise if I'm paraphrasing it completely wrong. But
That's the whole point of a paraphrase, mate.
The best thing about rock bottom is the rock part.
Yeah.
Because you can't break that down any further. So rock bottom is the furthest you will go, and then you can build a really solid foundation on the top of that.
It's like that only way is up, right?
Yeah, but just know that rock bottom, the best bit about it is the rock.
Yeah.
Because you can't break that down anymore.
That's the foundation.
It's solid.
That's quality. Yeah, I've heard some, like, on other podcasts and stuff like that. I've heard people say similar sort of things.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is really powerful. But that's a perspective as well. When you start to think, I think people are so set in their ways at times. They're not open to that idea that something that may seem airy fairy, like that analogy, and it's like, that's so strong. Fuck yeah, I'm using that, Raka. Like, yeah, let's go. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So mantra.
So it can be whatever you want it to be. Make it your own language. Say it however you want to say it, but make it positive and make it something you are going to want to repeat.
Yeah.
Because then you start that learned behavior that a lot of anxiety and stress comes from, if you ask me, is reformed and changed.
It kind of goes back to your first one, really. Like, the physical look up is another way to, the catalyst to look at things from a different perspective. Your mantra is a catalyst to go, all is well, is, okay, recognised it, and now I'm going to think different again. So it's all about that thought process about, right, interject, switch your focus. Yeah, I love that, man.
And what about your last tip?
I'm torn a little bit, because mine are obviously a little bit different to yours.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, of course it is, yeah. They've got 6 tips. They're probably like, Sam ain't got a fucking clue what he's talking about. And
you do.
And they'd be right.
You've lived a life that instantly qualifies you.
Yeah. So exercise for me is massive, but that kind of goes with tip 2, like, get outside.
I think that could be its own tip.
Yeah, I think, and this is from my personal thing. Like, if I have been really stressed and really anxious, and I think I know it's all focus based, right? We've literally established that the more you focus on stuff. If I go to the gym, I know that I've literally felt shit. I've walked into the gym. I'm so focused on working out. I haven't been anxious, but then when I've come out, I've instantly thought about it again. And I'm like, oh, okay. And that kind of goes where I don't want to sweep it under the carpet. But if you do a form of exercise already.
You said do.
If you do.
I'm so childish. Honestly.
I mean,
my friends say that all the time. Whenever we all say it, but whenever anyone catches it, we're like, you said do.
But I think if there's any, I'm not going to say, I'm nearly said it again.
Yeah, I nearly caught you.
If you partake in any physical activity, especially like
it's a healthy
team
habit.
Related,
yeah.
Like, as I feel like I've been in periods of my life where I've been very anxious and very stressed, and football training's been like, I've been like, do you know what? I'm too fucking anxious to go there tonight. I don't want to go. And it's been a detrimental decision to do. Is that right? Yeah. To do that. Whereas I know that if I'd been around people, like, obviously not all sports are team sports, but I think exercise, there's no denying the power it has on physical health and mental health.
It's such an important.
So I think that would be mine, just to be a little bit different to yours as well. Like, get out and move.
But there's research, a lot of it, and don't ask me to cite particular research because I can't remember. But there was a study that I read around how antidepressants work, and that there's research to support that 30 minutes of moderate physical activity, it has the same benefit on your brain chemistry as taking an antidepressant.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same level on your same effects are on your serotonin.
Yeah.
On your endorphins, your good happy hormones.
That's similar to something I'd heard about the ice bath, and I'm going to paraphrase because I might get the numbers wrong. And it's not regarding antidepressants; it's regarding a dopamine hit, and obviously cocaine, right? So people take that for an instant dopamine hit, and it's something like the spike in dopamine to the regression of it is like 9 minutes, which I know that people are on it for a lot longer, and the effects are a lot longer. But an ice bath, the dopamine hit is something like 3 hours.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they've done so many. So that
longer.
adrenaline, that dopamine hit, that serotonin level that you get from that ice cold water, the long lasting effects are up to 3. I think it might even be longer, but that just it's the same sort of scenario.
And it's natural.
Yeah,
exercise is a huge, massively important part of or it can be an important part of your routine. But make it something you enjoy.
Yeah, I know a lot of runners, and there's a lot of my friends run, and they say it's like that one sport that it's the only sport that you feel better after. Like you feel better after doing it. I can't remember. I'll get the actual phrase up, but it's like in the moment it's fucking shit. You're like fucking hell. I've hit 5k, 10k. Why am I choosing to run 26 miles? But I'm like, and when you've done it, it's like, oh my God, I feel amazing. And that's why like now, like I go I don't run a distance, but it's like 2-3k in the morning just to get moving. And it's part of my morning routine and stuff like that. But I do personally believe that it sets me up for the day. Like if I wake up and you feel a bit like, oh, do you know what? I'm a bit nervous about doing this today. I'll go for a run and I come back and I'm like, woo, let's go. I'm fucking ready. Like, yeah. So
it can be whatever you enjoy. It doesn't have to be the gym. A lot of people don't like the idea of the gym.
No, yeah, of course. Just any
exercise. Any exercise.
And that's where it's different from number 2 for me, because you don't have to stop talking about number 2s and doo-doos. I'm not saying you have to get outside to do this exercise either. Like if you've got a treadmill at home or something like that, then use it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like my second tip was get outside. I think that's huge. But the exercise doesn't have to be outside. So they are slightly different, the tips there.
Well, the focus has been stress and anxiety today. I just want to say I found this podcast episode highly stressful.
I'm very anxious.
You, sir, stressed me out the whole episode. No, you haven't.
That's
really.
Fine.
But I hope
all is well.
All is well. All is well. Thank you for stealing my mantra straight away. But
I'm nicking that.
I feel that we've addressed quite a lot in this episode, and not everyone's going to agree with what we've said.
No.
But I hope that what we've talked about is going to inspire someone to address the stress and anxiety levels in their own life and make positive changes.
Absolutely. Mate, it's been a pleasure.
It has been a pleasure. Where can people find us, Sam? Do you know?
I still haven't got the login, though.
Oh, I know. Sorry about that. I haven't posted
Flex
anything
Your
yet.
Feelings.
Yeah. Podcast.
It's on Instagram handle. And yeah, obviously find us on however you're listening to this now, but Spotify, Apple, all the other podcasting platforms are available. That. And looking forward to the next episode, mate.
It's been a pleasure.
Take it easy.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.